The south of France is once again sweltering in the heat. The streets of Dax are mostly deserted. The few out braving the heat find it tough.
Trop chaud, vraiment.
It's very, very hot. It's unbearable.
It's a little cooler than last week when temperatures soared to 42 degrees. I reckon quite definitely that the climate is warming up.
The Landes region is already on an orange temperature alert, barely a week after the last heat wave. In her flat, Alicia is once again keeping her shutters closed.
Whenever we can, we prefer to spend time outdoors really, partly because, after all, you don't necessarily see daylight at certain times of the day.
Monday saw high temperatures across the country. The highest was 42.7 degrees in the south, but it wasn't that much cooler in the northwest of the country. It's sweltering by the sea as well, 39 degrees in Basque Country. So first thing, volunteers visit elderly residents to make sure they're all right.
Yes, I've got water.
They close the shutters, water the plants and provide a reassuring presence.
I don't need my...
Droughts, heat waves, floods, storms and wildfires. Across the EU and around the world, these climate-related disasters are taking their toll. 2 years ago, catastrophic floods struck Belgium, Germany, Luxembourg and the Netherlands. In a matter of hours, the floods took over 200 lives, destroyed homes and caused devastating damage. These kinds of extreme weather events can no longer be written off as anomalies. The science is clear. As global temperatures rise, these events will become more intense and more frequent. The people who have lost their lives deserve to be remembered. On the 15th of July each year in the EU, we will commemorate the victims of the global climate crisis, a day where we come together to remember, to act, to build resilience and prepare against future risks, and to keep fighting the climate crisis.
Welcome to your Voice Your Impact show, where authentic voices spark real change and bold conversations lead to lasting impact.
That's right. This is a space where we amplify ideas, celebrate stories, and challenge mindsets, because every voice matters and every story has the power to transform.
Whether you're a dreamer, a doer, a change maker, or someone simply figuring it out, we are here for you. Each week, we bring inspiring guests, thought-provoking conversations, and powerful insights to help you own your voice and leave your impact.
I am the energetic EJ, a life and transformational coach, a podcaster, and an event host. I work with women who are accomplished to turn their success into legacy influence.
Hi, my name is Olawale Afolabi, but many know me as Scott Unlimited. I'm a seasoned compere and orator par excellence, passionate about connecting people through words and purpose. Beyond the mic, I'm a business intelligence professional driven by insight, strategy, and impact.
My name is Grace So Amazing. I am an integrative life coach. I help my clients align their psychological, social, and physical well-being. I am the founder of Friends Lean On Global Foundation, a non-governmental organization that is centered on educating people about mental and emotional well-being. Like,
subscribe,
and share. Welcome.
Yes, hello, welcome to the show today. Welcome to your Voice Your Impact show, and I hope that you are doing well wherever you are. Thank you for joining us again today. Yes, so we are back on the show today, and today we are looking at, the weather situation. So wherever you are in the world, watching this now or watching it later, you probably are experiencing one form of the weather or the other. Like you are feeling it somehow. In some areas is extreme heat. In other areas is flood. In other areas is wildfire, is drought. Like it's just different versions of it. And today what we want to do really is to look into the statistics, global statistics. I'm going to be reading some stats for you, but also we want to hear from people from different parts of the world as much as we can take today. So we're opening the show up today to call-ins, so you can call in on the show to actually share what the weather is like in your own vicinity, whether it's your country, whether you're in Nigeria, in Dubai, in the UAE, or in the UK, in Europe. I'm going to read some statistics for you soon. But yeah, so you're free to call in. I'm going to type out the numbers that you can call in on the screen so that you can put your call through. And we're going to hear from different people from different parts of the world to talk about the weather. But yes, let's bring you back home. Hello, Gracie. How are you today? And how is the weather weathering in your side?
Hi, beautiful people. The weather is actually weathering. The weather is interesting, I would say. Some days you'd wake up and the weather will be clear, and the next minute the weather is completely different, like from 0 to 100. But it's a season, and like someone said, we should not fight the weather, but we just look for a way to enjoy it and be better prepared. So yeah, the weather is just the way it is. The weather, you cannot really predict. We just take it the way it is.
Absolutely. Give me a second. I'm just trying to put the number on the screen.
While we're waiting for that to come up, okay. So,
yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, while we're waiting for that to come up, in recent times, especially here in Nigeria, we have seen things happening, and I mean, we were just asking, just like the topic. The topic is the weather trying to tell us something, or is the climate trying to tell us something? And interestingly, nature in itself is a beautiful communicator. Like, it does not have time to. You will just see that. Look, I'm telling you something. You better take it. You better get it, or pay attention. Yeah. So I think everything we're seeing in recent times is, nature trying to really tell us something.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So while we wait, I mean, the number to call is already on the screen. So you're free to call in to let us know what the weather is on your end. But I just want to read some of the stats that I'm saying. I'm like, oh wow, a lot is happening in the world, you see. So let's say in the last 2 months, since May till now, right? We have Europe. Europe is experiencing one of its most intense heat wave. I remember 2 weeks ago, was it even 2 weeks ago, last week, I was looking at somebody's status, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was looking at somebody's status from Germany, and they were screaming on the status like, oh my God, God help us, this heat is too much. Meanwhile, in UAE as well, in Dubai, I'm like, I was melting, literally melting on the road. Like, you can feel your I don't even know how to explain it. It was hot, but it was extremely humid as well, even in the UAE. Like, it was like the weather degree number would say today's weather will be like 38, but it actually feels like 50. So it's extreme, right? So these are some of in Europe is experiencing one of its most intense heat waves. One of the biggest, stories globally has been extreme heat across Europe. So Western Europe recorded its warmest June on record. Several countries are experiencing temperature above historical averages. Scientists have estimated that 10,000 excess deaths across 27 European countries during the late June heat wave is actually high, 10,000 people, and is affecting mostly older people. So when we talk about the weather, let's not look at it as just weather. People are actually losing their lives. And I'm wondering, what is the weather telling us? What are we doing, differently, right? So are we really even ready for the impact of this weather or climate change? These are the questions that we just want to talk about today. Also, another update is that oceans are warmer than ever, right? And scientists have reported that June 2026 had the highest global ocean surface temperature ever recorded for the month, right? Why does this matter? Warmer ocean influences hurricanes, it influences rainfall, it influences marine ecosystems, it influences global temperature, right? So NOAA reported in June 2026 as the second warmest June globally, with ocean temperature reach, the highest in the month of June, right? There's just a lot is just going on. There's flood risk in Asia. I think the other time there was typhoon in Thailand, or China is experiencing it, Venezuela is experiencing it, and of course wildfire as well in the southern part of Europe, and then Africa, bringing it back home to Africa. In Lagos, it's been raining every single day since July 1st. Every day since July 1st, there is rain, in one part of Lagos or the other. The same in Ghana. Ghana also had a very, very terrible downpour, I think on the 30th of June, and that really claimed the lives of some young people and some people, because of the flood. So a lot is happening around the world when it comes to weather. And so we just wanted to talk about that. I want to hear from people, like, what is going on in your own area? How are you experiencing the weather? Now, I'm currently in Lagos, and as much as it is raining every single day, like, you cannot be, when I was growing up, when it rains, you put off the fan. Like, you don't need AC because the weather will be cool. But right now, it's raining every single day, but it's still hot. It's still hot. Like, if you don't have your fan or your AC on, you're still feeling the heat, you're dripping. And I'm wondering, what is going on? What is going on? How are you experiencing it in Abuja?
I don't even know, because the weather, you know how they say mixed, it's like a mixed feeling. Like, the weather can literally be cold outside, and then you're feeling cold, you're running in, feeling that, oh, it's cold, and you get in and it's like, what's happening here? At least one should even feel it. And it just goes to show that there's a lot happening that we need to pay attention to, right? Could it be how the building material? I don't even know how to rate it, because ideally you would say that, the weather, the atmosphere outside affects the atmosphere inside in a way, because there's some level of transfer of what's the word I'm looking for? The temperature in itself just knows how to transfer itself from one environment to the other. But I don't know how this is not happening in recent times. You'd even put up your open your windows and expect that one way or the other air should come in, and then it's just feeling like, there's a standstill when it comes to. So it's sometimes it will be very cold inside. So it's another thing that one should start asking, now what's happening here? And there are days that it will be very, very, very hot, like really, really hot, and you're saying that is the weather not? There's something happening here. It's raining. It's almost like we should be shivering, just the same way it is in Lagos, right? And then some days it might just be normal. It's cold outside, it's cold inside, it's cold everywhere. So it's a bit confusing, and I think for people that are studying this particular area, they have how to explain it. They know what to explain and how to
I'm telling you,
what it truly
honestly.
means.
I think we will still probably visit the topic again with an expert in the building to kind of explain what could be happening, right? I mean, we could do a quick search online to just say what is happening, but I think the angle that we want to come from today is we're not weather meteorists or whatever, right? We want to learn how it is affecting people in their different areas. So we have a caller coming in from Ghana. So let's take this call and hear what the weather is like in Ghana. Hello, good evening, and thank you for joining the call. Please let us know your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening. My name is Mercy. and I'm calling from Ghana.
Right.
Accra, Ghana, to be precise.
Awesome.
Yes.
How is Ghana today?
Yeah, Ghana is fine due to the flood, the rain. We're in the rainy season now, and for the past 2 months, or I would say 3 months, because here the rain started in May. Actually, it has been chaotic. Let me use that word. Yes, it has been flooded. I mean, the rain, 2 days, 3 days rain has been something else, killing people. I mean, I can say from that May till this June, the amount of people that the rain affected, even dead, it's more than 100 people.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
And looking at even just this month alone, the rain that fell recently, that was on a Monday or so, the rain that fell took about 30 people's life.
Wow.
Yes. Buildings were even,
collapsing.
A whole lot of properties. Yes.
Wow.
So the rain has been really, really affecting, but I'm just hoping, the drainage system, we're able to work on it. At least the government is actually, the president is actually doing very well, trying to, make sure that everybody cleans their gutter so that things like this will stop. Every little rain that falls right now, if the rain starts right now, as I speak right now, let's say 2 or 3 hours rain, is going to flood everywhere. It's that bad.
So what exactly is the cause of the flood? Is it the drainage system that is not working, or what would you say from your experience?
Okay, so I will not really say the drainage system. Yes, that part is also there, in the sense that some areas, they refuse or they ignore let's say constructing a drainage system, like a big gutter in the front of their houses, or stores or stuff like that. That part is there, is also causing the thing. But another main issue here is the drainage system is being stuffed with garbage, with rubbish. Yes. And when the rain happens, like it falls down heavy like that, the flood comes, and even from other places, from different town, it blocks the drainage and everywhere. And you know how water is. Water is very powerful.
Right.
The moment the water sees that it's not passing through, it can break through the entire building to go through.
Right.
That's how it is.
Right.
And people are really, really dying based on this. You can't even sleep in your house because people, as in houses, are actually
collapsing.
That bad.
Wow.
Collapsing. Yes. It's that bad.
Wow.
So the drainage system right now is there for some area, but the problem is the garbage. Like, people are just dumping things in there. So now the government is making it. In fact, they've added it to the law right now, which recently has started. I think it started 2 weeks ago now. So every Friday, maybe last Friday, just like Nigeria environmental, you see what?
Right.
So now it's like every last Friday of each month, or 2 weeks of each month. I'm here to confirm that Friday and Saturday, everybody
must clean out.
You must clean the gutter. Yes. And they really mean business. I mean, if they are moving all about, the moment they see your shop opening or your house, you are just there, you're not doing anything, they come arrest you. That's how bad it is.
I think that is really good, because those systems are there before, but I just feel like now, even when they now remove those dirts, is there a system for them to actually process those dirts? Like, is there a place that is safe enough for them to put those dirts? Or, because I see, for example, in Lagos, I see people sweeping. These people, the Loma people, they clean some of the streets, but they will sweep the dirt and leave the heap of the dirt they swept there. So at the end of the day, when it rains, the rains will bring back that dirt to the streets or to the gutters. So is there a system in place beyond, okay, let's clean our environment, but are they doing anything to ensure that when those environments are clean, those dirts are being either recycled or disposed properly?
Okay, so thank you for this same question you just asked. I'll add it to what I'm saying earlier. So aside the government putting measures in place, going around to make sure that everybody's cleaning their gutters, they're not just going around; they are going around with trucks. So there's even a video out there which was this recent Saturday. Mama himself was using shovel to pack people's debts that they've packed from their gutter into the truck. So they are going around to pack all the debts. Yes.
Fantastic.
The video is out there. So he's going to street by street, location by location to pack the debt. So when you remove it from your gutter, don't just leave it there. There's a truck coming around to take it all.
Right.
And they have a place. Actually, there's a place for these things. But you're human being, ignorant. And just, they just want to act, I don't get it.
Right.
So sometimes they just do what they like, but now it's affecting them. Like houses are people's properties are gone, like everything. Cars, the amount of cars that got spoiled was more than 1,000 cars.
Wow.
More than 1,000, like beyond repair.
Right.
And they cost it for themselves.
Right.
Cost it for themselves, and now this is what is happening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for sharing some of the insight on what is going on in Ghana, as well as what the government is doing to actually tackle this situation. Thank you so much, Mercy. Thank you so much. Yeah. God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Can you beat that? It's a lot to handle, especially here, right? And the funny thing is, yes, you can see that this is happening in Africa, but would you say is the same dirt issue in other parts of the world? I wouldn't say that. What do you think?
Yeah, it is. Human activity. So, for all we know, is there's a system. There's what they call water cycle, carbon cycle. There's always that cycle where what the earth does is it rotates, and from one season to another, it is moving. And when the season comes, for instance, rain, once it's time for rain to come, it will check, and it is based on what the human beings have done that it will now come with. So people will tell you that, for instance, there was this day I was going to drop something, but I had suffered, living in Lagos, where we saw things like this, and we were warned that we should not litter, plastics and all those things, that those things used to go and block drainage. So I came with that mentality that, you shouldn't litter, you shouldn't do this, just come, look for a place and dump it. So when I came to Abuja, I was practically looking for dustbins all around, and it wasn't easy. And I said, okay, I'm sure I should just keep it, and when I get to a reasonable place, I'll drop it. But that's my place. But to now see some sane countries, I would say some sane countries where things are very systemic, you do this, you do that. What are they now doing that is causing their own? I'm very sure because we are here, we are seeing certain things happen. And these people, they are very good with PR. They will not show you everything. They will only show you what looks good. I'm very sure that they also have places where things
they have
like
issues.
They
Absolutely.
have issues. The first time my friend called me, we were on a video call, and she was in America.
Let's put a pin on that story. Let's take this call.
Okay,
Somebody's calling in. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you? Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Annie G. I'm calling from Zimbabwe.
Hey, Zimbabwe. How do you say hi in Zim? Or is it Shona?
You can say Date.
Date?
Ndeipi.
Deipi. Okay, Deity.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you for calling in, Annie. How is the weather over there in Zim?
You know what? So when I was coming to Zimbabwe, I haven't experienced winter in a very long time. But my vivid recollection of our winters is that it's quite harsh. They're quite extreme, quite cold, and I had such anxiety because I was coming from a very hot region, and I was sure I'm going to really suffer the most, right? But surprisingly, you keep waiting for the cold to get cold, and it just does not get that cold. I remember sending SOS to family and friends to say, you know what, I think I'm going to need a lot of coats and winter stuff because I was coming from the Middle East where coats were not necessary, right?
Right.
So I had that anxiety, winter came, usually our winter kicks in May, all through to August.
Okay.
But surprisingly, I mean, it does get cold. Like we have cold evenings and cold mornings. But the extremities during the day, like from the cold does get really cold. Like in the evening, it could hit as low as 10 or 11 or 12 or 13. But now even the cold doesn't get as bad as it used to get.
To be.
Right? And then during the day, it feels like a hot summer. So you actually don't even know how to dress when you're getting into town. If you're going to spend the whole day in town, you need an outfit that makes sense for the mornings.
And for the evenings.
You can strip down to still look really cool, during the hot peak of the day.
Wow.
And then gear up when you're about to come back home. So it's so confusing. Yeah, but I've been really, really grateful because I was saying to God, I cannot die with this winter. So it should be alarming to the rest of the people because it's like, okay, why is it so hot? And I noticed also, like, we don't usually get rains like late up until May. And it was raining pretty much nonstop till like May, which is so odd because now it even passes the planting season and there's certain vegetation that cannot withstand that much
the
water.
rain.
Then you transition immediately into winter where there's no rains and it's cold, and now you're moving into a more drought-like period. So now you need like more drought-resistant crops, which makes no sense because you have not had time to plant them because it was raining up until May. So it has been quite helter-skelter. But hey, I personally am not complaining.
Because of the code. That's interesting though. I look at it, look at this other angle now. Like it's not just about the weather anymore. It's actually affecting agriculture. Because now,
100%.
it's affecting agriculture, and then it's probably going to affect the price of food because now the crops that were supposed to be available are no longer available as scarce. And so wow, look at the depth of how the weather climate could go. So what from your own, looking around you and maybe talking to experts in your own area, do you have an idea of why this could be happening in this time?
I think it could be more of the global warming. That is, if you've noticed, there's a lot of heating cycles that are happening all across Europe, United States, So there's just definitely a shift. Places that didn't get a lot of rain are starting to experience a lot of rain and a lot of water, like you heard in Ghana, like there's like overflow. Places that normally wouldn't flood are starting to really have like massive flooding and stuff. And places that were generally cooler are starting to see and experience more warmer seasons, and sometimes even to the extremities. I mean, these are conversations we had, if you remember, in the 2010s, you know, when global warming was still somewhat like
a new
it was a
concept.
it was a conversation that we thought scientists were trying to come up with new names of some stuff, you know, and we actually are living it as we see it, because we all can attest in our different places that the weather is definitely not the same anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a shift there. And I just also think that it is definitely a more global climate change. It could be triggered by a lot of cycles. You know, there's a lot of tragic things that are happening, cyclones, tornadoes, hurricanes. So other places then get the remnants of whatever would have happened in an easterly part or westerly part or a northern part. So it trickles down, the effect trickles down to other places as well, but it may not manifest as what they are experiencing. But it's a cycle, it's moving. I'd like to believe that we are seeing a global climate change, and it is what it is.
Absolutely. Gracie, do you have any question for Annie before we let her go?
No questions. Thanks for calling. Thanks for calling.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for calling in, Annie, and thank you for sharing what's going on in Zim and the weather over there, giving us another perspective on how the weather climate is actually affecting the livelihood of daily life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, EJ.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You know, one thing I find really interesting is I think everything should be our business. And what I mean by that is it is clear, it is very clear that the earth is a system. And you might just think that those that are doing climate, those that are into weather forecast, those that are doing whatever they are doing, it is their business, it is none of my business. But one singular attitude or behavior, one human behavior or a collective behavior can affect the human race. And you know, when they say plant a tree, the earliest time to plant a tree was yesterday, but now whatever, there's a way they say that thing, and you'll be like, yeah, we all know what the
implications
of not planting, we know. And then you now say that it's so easy for you to say that they are cutting trees, they are doing this, they are doing that. Do you know that the trees, the bed that you're sleeping on was made out of wood? Do you know that the coal, whatever, was made out of wood? You're saying that we should not cut trees. Now, how would we do this? How would we do that? And then there's like a big complication out there. And then, you know, I was saying it to somebody recently that I know there would be a time where I would need to build a mud house in my space. And it sounded very funny, but I said, you know, we're getting to that point where we'll go back to where we're coming from. Because back in the days, I'm not sure, I'll need to go back to read history to see if this flood thing did not just start. I remember as children, there was this thing in Morocco. My auntie moved from where she was living in Morocco to where we were staying in Surulere back then. I wanted to say, this thing is a new thing, but it's not new. I'm sure, you know, it's been happening. But I'm saying, I'm still asking myself, like in the case of Babbage, you know, the water. So let's talk about Lekki, for instance. So we're talking about flood. Recently, I saw where a 72-year-old man died in somewhere in Delta State. Flood carried him, and just like G said, the lady that just called, she said that Annie said that, you know, when water comes, was it Annie or Mercy said something?
It was Mercy, yeah.
Water Water is the most powerful force, if you ask me, because it's coming slowly, but it's gosh, the effect is still bam bam. It might just be coming small, small. So I remember when my auntie came that time and said that all their things, washed, water washed all their properties and everything that looked good. And I remember we were all crying, and we're like, hey, what will happen now? But it is still happening. It is still happening till tomorrow. But the big question is, what can be done? This thing has been happening. What can be done? Or is it a case of, since the days of Noah, we should just accept water as a force, even though the rainbow has showed us that, no, don't worry, the earth will not...
The world will be destroyed by water again.
No, but what we're laughing still boils down to say that we can still help and collaborate with nature in such a way that the effect will not be so bad. We are producing things that nature doesn't like. Plastics. We're using plastics and we're dumping. These things are artificial. Industrialization, there are things, and we're not leaving room for that urban, rural equity or equality.
Coexistence,
no place
right?
is coexistence. No place is rural again. Even in the rural places where you see lots of farmlands, you see lots of less industrialization, less industries and all of that. These days, because of how land is very cheap in some of these rural areas, you see one industry will just come and say, bah, this is where we will stay. And when they are burning all these things, it affects the environment. So there's a huge human intervention that's causing some of these things. And then in our own little spaces, what can we do? If somebody's asking, what are the things that we are doing that is causing issues out there, is we should be very intentional about planting trees. We should join things that encourages planting of trees. That's what I think we can do in our own way. And then recently I planted coconut tree in front of my house, and I was like, okay, let us join them and be planting the tree. But if you come to Abuja, no more land though. You will see a lot of estates
constructions going on.
Yes, they are crushing. We're talking about how they are crushing rocks. I know rocks are there to also help.
Sturdy, yes, to also help wage some things.
If you see the crushing of rocks, there are a lot of things happening that what we never used to see in Africa, like earthquakes, all these things.
Yeah, it's almost like you're using our hands to call it.
So these are some of the things that we are seeing. Honestly, in recent times. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, yes, we should start to think about, I think one of the things you said that really struck a chord. Before I say that thought, please, you can call in. Thank you, Rahima, for being a part of the show. She was trying to complete the adage you were saying, trying to say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. Thank you for joining the call. And if you want to add or let us know what the weather is like in your area and what is happening or the effect of it really in your area, please do call in. The numbers are on the screen for you to call in. One of the things you said that really struck a chord was when you said we have to make everything our business. We can no longer feign ignorance. We can no longer feign like it's not my business. Everything is our business, because now it's glaring how everything is connected. How the extreme weather here, just like what Annie said, how the extreme weather here is affecting, like it's trickling in effect and showing up somehow or another way or another form in another place. So there's earthquake and flood and typhoon in Philippines, but the residue of that is probably what is causing a huge heat wave somewhere else or a flood somewhere else. So we are all connected. We're all living in this world together. Yes, we are living in different parts of it, but we are all connected, and we need to start paying attention. We need to start, thinking of, okay, how can we make it better? And I know we've been saying these things for years. They've been saying these things for years, but some of us feel like, it's none of our business, It's white man problem. So that's one of the things that we will say in Africa. Earthquake is white man problem. But little by little, some of the things that they're experiencing now is because of some of the neglect that they did not pay attention to before now, that is now trickling and causing these things, right? So please, please. Okay, so Annie is saying, I actually saw the video of Grace planting the coconut. Absolutely, we should join and plant. You know, I was in Kenya.
That's why it's not good to lie. You what you
I'm
see?
telling you,
Somebody just proved it.
Somebody will cut your line. You know, I was in Kenya a couple of weeks ago and I saw the intentionality that Kenya actually has with these trees. Every, even the express, even on the express, you will see trees, like there are trees everywhere. And I think probably they are intentional. Yes, they also have their issues of flood, but probably it's because of the way that the landscape is over there. Because what I noticed was the part of the town I went to in Nairobi is like most of it is hilly. Is hilly. So it means that imagine the road going like this and going like this. So if rain is falling, definitely the people on the downside, the people on the hills will get it compared to the people on the mountains, right? So, but at the same time, with the trees all around, like everywhere was just tree, big, and you can see that they really was intentional because these trees are huge. So it's not trees that they planted today. These trees are huge and tall and sturdy, right? So they can help withstand some of the pressure when it does come. But I guess the people that will feel it more are people that are in the lower part of the town, so where the water now flows to. And so, of course, I believe that also, even with that, there should be things that can be put in place, right? Maybe like the drainage is well constructed or channels through which water is flowing to a particular place, you know? I mean, even in the last time the UAE experienced that type of very, and they experienced it in 2024 as that, you know, before then, they're very good with cloud seeding. You know, cloud seed, like, oh, cause rain to fall and everything. Since that time, there's not been rain. Even if the rain is like, but still, at that, they didn't cloud seed. But again, it's nature. I think nature is just beginning to tell or prove to us that, see, I was here before you. You people met me here. Nature is trying to say, you people met me here and you came and want to come and destroy me. You can't displace me, right? And I remember that even this year, was it this? Yeah, earlier this year, it still rained so heavily that it affected some areas. Like I was stuck in a particular part of the UAE and I couldn't even leave the house for like 4 days because every time you go out, the water was still very high. There's no, like, imagine expressway, both going and coming, flooded.
That's
like
supposed to be a
cars.
desert. And that's supposed to be a desert.
Do you get? So a lot is happening with the weather, and I'm hoping that we can pick up on the things that we can do to kind of minimize the effect of it. Number one, so one of the things, like the people building houses, construction, can you people be very can construct developers be more intentional? Because some of the houses you see being built in places like Nigeria, some of them, even when you look at the finishing, when you look at the house, you will know that, hey, if too much breeze blows, this house will just come crashing down because they don't use sturdy materials to build it. Then sometimes their finishing is so terrible. How can you finish building a beautiful apartment, right? And then the door of the main room, the sliding door, babe, sliding door of the room. Like, how did they calculate it? That the door is there and one part of the wall, the door cannot enter because it's like this. So it's like putting a rectangular door on a diagonal frame. So the sides are open.
Trying to save costs at the detriment of lives.
It's bad. It's really sad. And I'm like, why? Like, aren't you people trained to do this work? Why would you build a door that has diagonal angles and then you put a distance? So you will say you are closing sliding door now, but there is space in this on the side, like for crying out loud.
It will be clear, like you will see that it wasn't a professional that did it.
Exactly. And they will still put a heavy price on it because it's a one part of town. Please, we should do better. Honestly, we should do better. I was watching a video online today, and the lady was just screaming on the this thing on Instagram that, oh, this is their house, so that they've sent all of them out since like 6 a.m. because they know like this building is going to crash soon. And this was a block of almost 6 flats. Now, some of the tenants were trying to get back in to at least salvage some of their stuff. And they're like, no, this thing will crashing soon. So there was issue. They were fighting back and forth in that house. I'm like, how did we get here? So these are little things that we need to pay attention to now to have to avoid issues that can happen later. The other one is the example Mercy shared from Ghana, which is something that we need to pay attention to in Nigeria. It's too bad. It's too bad. Like, there's no drainage you will see in Lagos now that is not blocked with rubbish. So my only worry is when I look at them, you are sweeping, you are cleaning, but when you finish cleaning, you don't dispose it off properly. So they pack everything from the gutter to the side on sanitation day and leave it there. Then when it rains, the rains will help you put it back. So they won't what is it? Their estates have seen, like they have all this bin, the drum for collecting bin, right? Yeah. Every building in that estate has it. But babe, the thing as full is spilling over, and there is no truck that is coming to take it. So I'm like, what's like, God?
And in some countries, that thing is gold. It's gold.
The rubbish, right? Like the refuse.
Gold, biofuel, fossil, everything, all those things, all those dirts. In fact, when they see it, they are happy. They have a system that people would not want to throw their dirt. They will gather it, and they make gas. It's just our science and technology in Africa, in Nigeria. Let me talk about what I know. There's no much. They've started. You see, some people. There was something I saw. Somebody did like a local, because the way nature is, nothing goes to waste. Technically, nature has done it in such a way that nothing is a waste. Even our poo is not a waste. It finds its way back, to the ground, and then fertilize. Yeah. Everything is, connected. And then some of these countries that already know that if they don't do something, they don't create a system, people will just do things anyhow. I remember when we were young, they used to come to our house, we'll keep our bottles, all those small bottles, we'll keep them, we'll go and sell it 5 naira, 2 naira, and they'll give us money. You're not looking for bottles anywhere because you'd see that they're rushed. I don't know if they still do it. I know they do it with plastics these days so that they can recycle it and all that, but there's room for more. There's room for more so that when you're even pouring your debt, you're seeing it as money because one company is going to come and pay you, take it, and then they'll go and get something out of it. I'm just hoping and praying that we'll get to that point where we will be intentional as individuals and as a nation.
Collective.
To put things together so that we would, at the end of the day, enjoy the community and the society where we live. Because it's important.
Right. I mean, and I know this talk we're having now is still surface level because the people that are wreaking the real havoc, babe, they are the people at the top. They are the companies, the industries. Like those people are like, they are really, I don't know what to call them, whether it's heartless, I don't know, right? Because they're the ones that do all this, like pollute, bless you. They pollute the water, they pollute the, and they do all this industry thing and even the fashion world. Like there's so many angles to this. Then the ocean, even dumping stuff inside the ocean and killing the livestock that are there. There are many animals in the ocean that are dying because somebody went to dump nylon there and then the thing now hook and then the animal cannot go again and they just die there. Like, a lot is happening, and honestly, we are often the cause of it all, human beings.
We said something like what AI. That one is another topic. If we look critically about the things that we complain about, God hand no dey. It is us. Well, God created us, so God hand dey. We cannot exempt, because at the end of the day, it's like, these creatures of mine, what are they up to this time? Because we will go and create one thing and just create and do, and then the thing will now come and bite us in the hair. Well, you're not the one that made me. Yeah, let's enjoy it. What am I saying in essence? You would see that, okay, I was checking globally cause of deaths and everything. We'll say accidents, and then we'll say how. We'll see something, this is to send a message to people that lost their lives. 5 women, they traveled to Kaduna recently, and they were going for a burial. This happened last week. It's trending on social media, and we don't know what happened. They had an accident. People that were escorting a corpse to go and bury them, they followed, they died. 5 women. So some children are out there without their moms. Some husbands are there without their wives. It's so sad. Why did I just remember this? It's just like, so sometimes we talk about creating certain things, and then when we're supposed to be doing things, okay, we have created it because it is supposed to help us. We created cars to help us with movement from one point to the other. And then the best we can do is reduce the speed on the highway. Drive carefully, or don't drink and drive. Don't do certain things that will now be that, okay, we're using our hands to do ourselves, and we're all culprits. I will not sit down here and just point fingers, but it's just a call to us that what are we doing, especially when it comes to the topic we're talking about. What are we doing consciously or unconsciously that is causing a big problem? It might be very small in your eyes that this one will not count now. Is it just this wrapper? Because somebody told me one chewing gum and this thing. The person was going. I said, don't trade it. Is it this small thing that will now cause it? Yes. Maybe the thing was waiting for the small space that will give it the level it wants, and then it will now misbehave. So I don't know. This is also a message to me that I should be more intentional and I should think global whenever I'm doing something in my small space. So that's what I'm going to
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I also saw I saw a post today and I posted it, and I know it's not directly to weather, but it still trickles down, because especially the way Annie just kind of connected that to agriculture. And the video was talking about how a lot of food and crops right now are becoming seedless, and which is intentional. And when I saw that, it was really scary. I mean, I know we've heard of it, we've heard of GMOs and all of that, but just listening to that or watching that and seeing that this thing is actually is actually coming. And honestly, it's like that's how they said about the internet, it came. That's how they warned us about the AI, it happened. Now they're saying it about crops. What are we going to do? Seedless watermelon, seedless tangerines, seedless oranges, seedless mango, seedless, what is it again? All the things that are supposed to have seeds, they are giving us seedless, because now they are trying to eradicate all the natural crops. So when they eradicate all the natural crops, they will now be the one in charge of the artificial ones. And now they can inflate it the way they want. They can decide to say, no, we're not going to give you unless you do what we want. And people have to eat. Do you see how the scripture is being fulfilled? People will say in scripture, okay, you see how it's being fulfilled. When they said at some point, you get to a point, you'll be able to do anything without collecting something. Did people think they would just come and say, come and collect the mark of the beast? No. It's in little things. The way we are getting addicted to our devices is there. Small time now, they will cut it off and say, okay, you can't connect to the internet or you can't use your device unless you have this. You can't see food to buy unless you have this. So again, let's be guided. Let's, like what we said earlier, if you leave this conversation with nothing, is that let everything be your business. Not in a, I don't even know how to call it now, not in a, I don't know how to put the word now, not in a like beboru way. Not in like you minding other people's business, no. But be aware of what's going on around you and globally, because we are connected. And I think this is one thing that this weather situation is showing us. In case you're not paying attention, pay attention. This weather is showing us that we are all connected. The shift is happening. People that are experiencing extreme cold, they're not experiencing extreme heat. People that are experiencing extreme heat, they're experiencing extreme cold. People that don't have water, they're experiencing drought, they are being flooded. People that are tropical, they're experiencing heat and drought. Again, we are all connected. So let us pay attention. Let us know what is going on, and let's see what role can we play in our own part to kind of make the situation better for us and to make the world a better place that we met it. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. And for everyone who called in on the show, thank you so much for calling in and for adding your voice to this conversation. Please let us do better. If we know better, we will do better. So let's keep learning, keep staying informed, and then doing better by using the information that you're getting. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will talk to you again next week on the show. God bless you. Have a fantastic evening all. Bye-bye.